Hello everyone, my name is Stella Hewer. I am from EdUnique and I am the Stress Whisperer. Today I want to talk to you about grief. This last weekend I've been on a critical trauma webinar and learned some very interesting things about grief. And I thought I would really like to share that with all of you, and especially to those of you who've lost loved ones and who are stuck in grief. What I would like to say, first of all, is that grief, now listen, grief is not abnormal, it's not a weakness, it's not pathological, it's not an illness. It is something normal, completely normal to go through. The problem is that we as humans, one is scared of grief. One's in such fear, and one feels if you're going to let out all this emotion that maybe you're going to fall apart and break, and you're going to go into a pit that you'll never get out of. I want to tell you that you cannot stay in the pits of despair, of that intense emotion, when you allow it to well up. Because grief is energy. It's all the anxiety and the fear and the despair. It's huge energy. And all those hormones are coursing through our whole system. But it produces so much energy that you cannot maintain it. So as one gives in and is overwhelmed and perhaps sobs, that energy eventually dissipates. A person stops sobbing. So yes, you might be tired at the end of that, but that intense energy has come out. And the more one is able to do that, eventually that crescendo that one reaches of absolute despair eventually starts to become less and less, and perhaps more infrequently, as one moves through this journey of grief. Now, grief takes work. That's the problem. It's grief work. It's not something one can move through just passively. One has to do the tasks. Grief work. And part of grief work, the first part is accepting the reality of the situation. And that's incredibly hard. That's probably one of the hardest things, is to accept the reality and then to start dealing with those feelings, allowing them to come out. They say, even Shrek said, better out than in. But we need to get this out, express those emotions, because grief does not go away. Just because we suppress it doesn't mean it's gone. It will stay there, and it will complicate life for us, and it will keep trying to break through, and it will come into our awareness. We'll be triggered at all sorts of different times, and it will take energy. And what it will mean is that we are not living, we are surviving. So how helpful is it to realize that this is a normal process? And one of the most helpful things one can do is to be in a relationship with somebody where you can just talk and feel safe, because often it's in relationships that we heal. They say for those that have lost children, one of the most scientifically proved beneficial things to do is to belong to a peer support group of other parents who've lost children. Because there you can normalize your feelings. You don't feel so isolated, like you're the only one, because grief is isolating. But you become part of a group where you see people who are worse than you, people who are better than you, and who are not better than you, but have progressed along the way to improve and to deal with their grief. So a lot of benefit comes within that social cohesion. So that is basically what I wanted to share with you today, and hope that it really helps you to see how normal this process is, but only if it continues after a long time. then it becomes a complicated grief, and one might really then need a therapist. I mean, no problem to right from the beginning if you feel you need the support, because everybody needs support. But if it becomes a complicated grief, it becomes a problem. And also remember, if we haven't dealt with these things and it's still sitting there, it makes life very hard to negotiate further down the road when other things happen to us. So that is what I would like to share with you. And that the process of grief is to get from remembering with pain to remembering with love, and finding a way to honor that person and to keep them here with you. I hope something that I've said might be helpful to all of you. I can't imagine what it is like to lose a child, and my hearts really go out to all of you. As I said, I am the Stress Whisperer. You're welcome to give me a call. I help people on a stress education perspective. I don't do therapy, but from an education perspective, I help people through the stress that they're experiencing and building life skills to help one cope better with life. So that is what I do. My number is 082 411 5002. Feel free to give me a call. Right. Thank you for that. And I am Stella, the Stress Whisperer. Bye for now.